what defines exceptional writing for you? So I can see here in the chat, clear, concise, understandable wording, clearness, sharpness, very good. About like sharp, precise, simple, simplicity, concise, simple, clear, catching storyline, in the language of the target group. Excellent. This foreshadows a lot of the things we're going to talk about today, because indeed, exceptional writing is defined in general by clarity, conciseness, structure, right? And the ability to convey messages as effectively as you can, right? As possible. And some key aspects, of course, you also mentioned good storytelling, okay, conveying facts and emotions, making content understandable to the audience you're targeting. So that's very important as well. Now, let's start with a quick exercise. And again, our workshops are very practical. So I'll share with you in the chat one email, and I want to spend 2 to 3 minutes reading it and finding improvement opportunities, right? Let's phrase it positively, not mistakes, but improvement opportunities. And be prepared to share what's your assessment with the group as well. So I share in the chat, take 2 minutes. I'll also project it here because I think I have this option. Yeah. So take 3 minutes and take a look at it. What can improve?
Yes, first you tell everything in brief and then you go on explaining, then everybody will follow it.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, very good. I can see here in the chat, lots of comments already. It's too long, not structured. You need to reorder it, highlight. It's useless in this case here, yes. Use bullets, make actions requests more clear, agree, the call to action, right? Language contains unnecessary fluffs, qualifiers, agree, make it a bit shorter, excellent. So very, very good. I think we can cut short a bit the time and continue, because this email may look okay at first sight, but there are, as you can see, a lot of weird things about it. Sometimes we come across those problems in emails we receive, but sometimes we may commit some of those sins, even though maybe not all of them in the same email like here. So let's break this down a little bit. So first, subject line. People waste subject lines a lot, right? It's very generic to say just marketing, lacking the specificity about the content or the action that is required from the audience, right? So this might be overlooked because everybody here has a full inbox. You can assume that of your audience as well, and people choose what they're gonna click on. So you better use the subject more consciously. Second, there is an absence of like a clear call to action or start of the message, right? And maybe this conversation was a long time ago, following up on our conversation. So a brief recap might be necessary to remind the recipient of the context. I always say be a bit generous with people's memory because they might be juggling a lot of topics. And if you get them quicker on the same page that you want them to be, you're going to get your point across faster, right? Here, there is a common thing, right? I believe we could probably improve. I think someone called it fluff. So it's advised to express opinions more confidently if you can, whenever you can. Maybe don't dilute your points, right? Instead, say, we can significantly improve our digital funnel, and with confidence, because there's too many uncertainty in business already, right? Everybody is like uncertain and there's so many maybes and the world is changing so fast. People look for confidence, for assertiveness. Like if you can back up your points, just say it. Don't say I believe or I think, because this is weakening your points in many instances. Now, this is one good thing about this email, right? It's numbers things, but that's it. Next, we have here, like we have a first point, okay? There's one idea. The second point, it's clearly not an independent second idea. Like if you look closer, it's a sub-bullet of the first idea, right? So it's a detail, it should belong together. And then we have what do you think? Out of the blue, in the middle of the corpus or the body of the email. This is not really clear. What, like, for a person skimming it, they might miss it completely. So highlighting the actions is necessary, and sometimes batching them together, it's a much better choice. And next, we have here, like, it's beneficial to start with the main point, right from the beginning. And here you mentioned the idea, now it's the best idea, so maybe you can put this thing right up front. We also have another problem here. Can you spot it?
I think when somebody is presenting, he should put most important points first, then
I agree.
number two important points later, and then in the last, the least important point, and then he can explain so that everything is emphasized very well.
Exactly, and that's top-down communication. We are missing this here, right? So here the point is, like, it's another point pertaining to the first idea, the questionnaire. So it's lacking order, structure, and so on. So it's maybe a person is having ideas while they're typing, but they're not going back to rewrite their email in the most structured way, right? Now, another call to action buried here in the middle. They could support us with other topics too. So lacking examples may weaken your email, because you have to try to anticipate some of the most likely questions of the reader, right? So just mention what do you mean by other topics here. And here still, why do I think this? Again, bringing fragmentation, not organized, and so on, right? Even though you number the reasons well, you're missing here the overall structure. And finally, one more fragmentation in the end. This is belonging to point number one. So that's why you all identified and felt that this is a very, very weak email, right? I saw from the comments. So what is? Sometimes a message seems to be top down, but there's still many issues with it. So the most important thing about structured communication is making the points logical and clear, right? Having clear thinking so that you can organize those points in a way that is effective to the audience. Now, here is the original email. Take a look at how this email could look like if rewritten using a bit more structure and also better highlighting. If you can take a 30 seconds look. So you see the same content as before, logically organized, very easy. I give you the context. In the last marketing full meeting, we saw the numbers and we agreed that I would take a look. So you recap those things, right? Put the person on the same page, and then give a top-down, let's say, what are they supposed to see in this email next, right? A diagnosis, conclusion of the diagnosis, and ideas 1 and 2, everything organized logically and structured, and the requests at the end. Okay, now a lot of people, they might think like, oh, now we can use ChatGPT to help us with that. Well, it depends, right? At least I'm talking about GPT-4, with the one that is available for us now and the models that are now. I try to give it the previous email and ask it to organize logically. And the results is not very good, right? It also did not understand that, well, we had 2 ideas instead of 3, and it kind of still like went for the same back and forth and zigzag that the first email had, right? So it writes more eloquently, but it didn't solve the structural problems. So the right way, in this case, in my opinion, to use ChatGPT is to actually structure it yourself, at least a basic structure, and then give it the chance to correct, make it more readable, so that it can do a good job, right? So here you can see a good usage of ChatGPT after structuring the message. The initial prompt was, please structure this email and make it clearer for the reader, or like more readable. And then I gave the email, and here I asked it to just please correct, make more readable for the reader. Okay, yes. So there's a lot you can do with prompting. You can improve the prompting a lot, But I believe we still, as humans and as thinkers, we still needed to structure the thoughts the best way possible. Unfortunately, we cannot delegate 100% to AI yet. So to summarize, what did we learn with this first quick exercise? Give a brief context first to accelerate the understanding of the email. Remember, everybody is skimming things. They're not stopping to read your super important email with all attention. Get to the point quickly, also using the subject line for that. Very important, I emphasize this a lot, group your points logically and don't go back and forth, right? Try to be as linear as you can. Make it visually easy to find the requests for the reader. And finally, you also mentioned conciseness a lot, de-word aggressively, and be assertive, but polite, right? You have to find the balance between those two things.